Welcome in to Stay Plugged In here on the Stay Plugged In Network. My name is Bearlight, and joining me is Lane X for the month of March showcase is here today. Lane X, it's a beautiful day to watch some of these high schoolers perform in front of some of these colleges.
Absolutely, man. It's a beautiful day for that. I'm excited to enjoy a lot of those plays. It's a pleasure to be alongside with you again, my buddy. And it's amazing to be again working for Stay Plugged In this beautiful, beautiful day. Like I said, it's going to be a very, very intense afternoon of Saturday. And I'm hoping to learn a lot from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's from the Carry to College days that we got to see together, actually, right here on this channel. Lots of connections being made. College Fair also exists here for the showcase today. So a really unique opportunity and activation for these high school students to be able to connect with these colleges one-on-one and make a name for themselves, both out of the game and also, like we'll see, in the game as well. And it's all thank you to Stay Plugged In, of course, which Stay Plugged In, if you don't know, is the leading esports recruiting platform in the country for high school students and even transfers at the college level. Anybody who's looking for a collegiate opportunity, even if you have a gap year, for example, you can utilize Stay Plugged in order to connect with those colleges one-on-one on the website. Through the messaging system, you can also follow colleges as well as a high schooler and see, what colleges that you're interested in. We have recruiting specialists that are able to kind of create a personalized game plan for you as a high schooler to find the right college for you. At the end of the day, that's what you'll look to do with Stay Plugged In. And you can simply create your free account today at staypluggedin.com. Again, that's staypluggedin.com and sign up for your free account today as a high schooler. Or if you're a college, get in touch with me as well. Again, my name is Bearlight. Happy to put you in touch with our specialists as well to make sure that you get the players that you need, but also the high schools find the colleges that they need. Because Lane, as you know, if you're going to go and study somewhere, it's very important. You want to be in the right place in order to do it.
Absolutely. You want to be connected to the best database we have out there when it comes to connecting students to the colleges that they want to be at. So it's an amazing opportunity to sign up today at Stay Plugged In. And I'm hoping to see some of these talents also stepping up in this Rocket League showcase we're going to have today, Barry, because we have seen a bunch of good moments, a bunch of good storylines and plays, of course, during the Carry to College. And today we're going to have another chance of doing that.
100%. And also, with Stay Plugged In, you have a lot of different avenues that you can pursue. I know Stay Plugged In has just introduced the curriculum as well for high schools specifically. So any, teachers that are coaches, or if you have any admins or principals that are tuning in to see their students in action and be able to get those college opportunities that 100% exist in esports. And by the way, Stay Plugged In has facilitated over $45 million in scholarships since its inception in 2020. So there's a lot of aspects of what Stay Plugged In can do, including Emerge Apparel, which is a Stay Plugged In company. Emerge Apparel is a way that you can earn funds for your program specifically, because it can be overwhelming for a lot of owners and directors of new esports teams, leagues, clubs, programs, whoever you might be. And so Emerge Apparel can really take that merchandising burden off your hands. It's work with any organization, any size. Emerge creates a custom online storefront with on-demand printing and fulfillment, which means you don't have to keep any of the gear on hand in inventory. Right? You don't have to worry about shipping. Emerge Apparel does all that for you. And with the Booster Club program, like we mentioned, you also gain some revenue in the process for your company. Visit emergeapparel.gg. Again, that is emergeapparel.gg, and start the process of creating your custom team shop today. Let me tell you, Lane. Emerge Apparel just announced that Envy and their comeback is now part of that program too. So if you want a trusted place, Envy is one of those names that's been around the esports world for a long time. So if Envy trusts Emerge Apparel, I would say that I'd love to kind of see if I could create a store myself for my content creation days.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you this, these guys should begin collecting these jerseys. We're going to be having the chance of seeing those brands and names all over the year. So I am myself going to begin collecting, creating a small collection of these jerseys because they're going to be looking amazing.
100%. And listen, Emerge Apparel is obviously got some good looking things too. The quality of this, the quality alone is absolutely fantastic. EmergeApparel.gg is something you definitely don't want to sleep on. And we also want to thank our friends at New England College. In addition to that too, New England College has been a great partner with Stay Plugged In to find the right students for their programs. And if you haven't seen their beautiful campus, number one, it is absolutely fantastic. But from their perspective, they're asking the question in their heads. They say, you think you got what it takes to compete at that next level. Because at New England College, gaming isn't just a passion, it's a championship tradition. With the state of the art esports arena, like I mentioned, plus back to back NECC Valorant titles. How about that? A community of elite players. NEC is where gamers become competitors specifically. Small classes, big opportunities in serious gaming. So join a college that takes esports to the next level. And on the screen and in the classroom as well, visit nec.edu/esports. So again, open that tab up, go to nec.edu/esports to learn more about this prestigious program at New England College. Listen, if you want to see a state-of-the-art arena, Lanex, I'm sure you've seen some, in your experience along the scene, a
Yep.
good-looking arena and a functioning arena that looks strong. You can build an environment and a community that's really strong as well.
Yeah, and what is cool is like another space for players and students to gather and to be offering, delivering their best. So there it is, Nike Sports, helping us with this process of offering the best to students.
That's right. Absolutely. And again, with that environment, you have to consider a whole lot of things when you're building a program like that, like power, for example, internet. In addition to that, and that's where Brightspeed comes in as well, with the amount of activations and the great support that we've seen from Brightspeed, who's headquartered actually on this East Coast in Charlotte, North Carolina. In addition to that, Brightspeed fiber internet is here, and they're with those ultra fast speeds. So any streaming, gaming, work needs, doesn't matter. There's no more dead zones and just reliable coverage everywhere in your home. Type exclamation point Brightspeed in the chat and check to see if Brightspeed FiberNet internet is available in your area. Again, that's exclamation point Brightspeed. Check it out. That fiber internet from Brightspeed is absolutely fantastic. The last thing you want to do is toss some controllers because your internet connection is not working late.
Absolutely. No more lagging, guys. Come on. Just, join Brightspeed, check your plans. It's an amazing service that offers you the best quality when it comes to streaming, gaming, video calling, uploading and downloading. So they're going to be offering you the stability that you need to be working on having fun online. So it's a very good chance to have that quality service to your side.
Did I mention activations that they're doing too? Because they've got some good ones here, Lane, including racing.staypluggedin.gg or sorry, racing.staypluggedin.com. Either way, if you plug it in either way, you will have that access to it. We got Formula STEM Esports Cup coming up, presented by Brightspeed Fiber Internet. It's an 8-week season, so any students that are interested in the world of sim racing, this gives you hands-on experience in racing. So you, once again, just like you're at the showcase, you're able to show off your skills in that aspect, but also there's a purpose behind it as well with the STEM portion of Formula STEM. We get to learn about the beauty of and the jobs that exist within racing, within esports. All of that takes place to learn from the industry best within, within the esports industry, but within the racing industry as well, to learn how to drive, but also learn how to set yourself up for success in future activations. All things because of Brightspeed Fiber Internet. So again, a big shout out goes to them. They've been absolutely excellent in this process. And Lane, of course, when you have sim racing, it's always been fun. F1 obviously is something that's been gaining in popularity here too. To see some of these
Yeah.
drivers, kind of funny though, to see some of the freshmen and sophomore who may not even be able to drive or have their license yet. They'll have the opportunity to maybe race too.
It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna be actually joining that effort because, buddy, March is already the month of practice, right? So it's the time you get to get ready and get sharpened to move forward. And I see a lot of those circuits. So it's gonna be a long calendar. Folks, just hop in and have the chance of enjoying those racing moments.
That's right. Also, of course, when you have those opportunities to learn in no matter where you are in the process, for Stay Plugged In Showcases, the reason why this works so well together is because this is a preparation for college. And college is incredibly important in the way that you can put it on the resume. It'll really advance your career opportunities specifically. And that's why we love doing that. With Formula STEM, you get the job experience on it too. So if you're talking like internships, for example, get that real world experience, there's some jobs that are out there that are like, hey, I want that. So give me some real world experience. Would rather see that. So you get the best of both worlds by, hey, you can go to college and get that hands-on experience and be ahead of the game no matter who you talk to in the future. is always pretty cool too. But hey, let's get into the details of today. You know, with C2C, it was a 2-day event for showcases. It'll be a 1-day event here for these players. So it'll be a double elimination bracket for Rocket League, which is the title that we'll be seeing here today. The double elimination bracket is relatively cutthroat, but you at least get a couple of chances before you're eliminated lane to show off in front of those college.
Yeah, I love this structure, to be honest, as a gaming lover and as someone who works with gaming as well, because you're offering them a second chance. Like you mentioned, each team making a potential mistakes, going to have sometimes some span of time to readjust and reface in a better spot, better conditions to your opponents. And I say it's a long bracket, it's a long structure. So make sure you stay with us, stay plugged in with us, and stay plugged in channels because there is going to be a very grueling and intense, bunch of games and matches. I see very strong names already. We're gonna be diving into that as soon. I know that, but I just want to point out that these players they have been striving since the beginning of the year to reach their peak, and obviously with some changes from team to team. So this is the moment where they need to seize the opportunity to also gain endurance, right, and get thicker because it's gonna be a long day.
It is, yeah. You have to have that focus throughout the entirety of the day, which is harder than might appear on the surface, especially if you're a parent out there. It's like a lot of times esports gets compared with traditional sports, and that's fair in some aspects. But with esports, it is 100% a mental battle, and it is constantly going on. So yes, it's not as physical. It's not like they're being like rugby or football where it's super physical, right? And it's going on for multiple hours, right? It's not difficult from that standpoint, but still, brain is part of that physical body at the end of the day, and they'll have to endure that constantly throughout this day. So to see who has that stamina is something I'm certainly eyeballing as myself and as a college specifically to say, hey, who can have that mental strength that maybe we need in our program that's to really lead by example, even at that freshman year of college.
Absolutely. You just nailed it. The mentality is there, and you're going to have the mindset of try to suggest, try to propose, impose your own game pace. But then you're going to face opponents, you're going to face other students, seniors. We have a lot of seniors, speaking of which, there, because I already see, man, it's a lot of those players, a lot of those students having the chance to show their best in the last year. They're going to be playing with us. And yeah, I mean, this is the time, this is their chance to summarize all that experience they have before and delivering and converting that into results. So I'm very excited to see how they're going to be actually helping the other younger and freshmen over the day because we're talking about a lot of good combinations here. Some trios are entirely composed by seniors, some others are blended up. So it's going to be cool to see this blend and this mix.
100%, and including like a team of all seniors that we'll get to see here is Wubway. They participated in C2C and so carried to college back in January. Their run came a little bit short. It was groups into a final bracket, but in the final bracket, it was single elimination. And in that semifinals matchup, they weren't able to quite get the job done. So they're gonna come in number 1 seed regardless and try to get into it. But we'll see a little bit later on the day. But the first matchup that we got in front of us is the Franklin Panthers, made up of Coop, PCO4NOP. Take your guess as far as how that's pronounced, to be honest. Your guess is as good as mine, Lane. But they've got X-Sync on this team as a senior. So one well-known name and one name that I'm sure we'll learn a lot about.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to, decipher that for us so that I could just follow up. Absolutely. Coop, Nop, and Sync. I'm gonna call these guys this way. Franklin Panthers, anyways, on the left side of our screen against Downey High School. So yeah, there it is. The kickoff happens, and these guys are already seeing the Franklin Panthers scoring and going for the 1-goal lead over here pretty fast. And sincere kind of play where Sync just brought a linear shoot from a distance. There, he was able to do that in a very, I would say, consistent way. No one was blocking him off. So there it is, 1-0.
Exactly right. Yeah, consistency is the absolute epitome of what it takes to be a Coca-Cola All-Star, so we'll see a lot of that from X-Sync, I imagine, as once again, it's very fitting that he's the one to get that first call and get that first goal on the board, looking for more, as well as Coop and X-Sync try to dive in here. Dim it off the ball will be Thighs, and here's Nop. But no intended target there, as it looked like he was trying to just angle a shot towards the box, but with no support there, not able to quite get it done here in Downey High School. Now on the prowess, trying to get that goal back and finding a little bit of offensive time for the first time in the first couple of minutes we've seen in this game number 1.
Yeah, it's been a bunch of those back and forth movements, and teams are trying to settle up, right, and define how they're going to be playing, what is going to be the pace. As we already see, Franklin Panthers going ahead and showing what they're capable of, stepping up the game against Downey for this opening. As we have Virtual Treasury trying to go for the middle. So those battles happening in the middle portion of the field are going to be also decisive to see who's going to be attacking, who's going to be defending, as we see some play coming from the ceiling, no ceiling shots so far, and I am excited to see how Downey High School are going to be responding to this, Bear.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Downey Unified Esports of Downey High School, victorious in their 7th annual Downey Unified Esports High School Championship. So they're doing big things. Unfortunately, it's looking like X-Sync is just taking business into his own hands here, as that initial touch was huge, but then got the read on thighs to slam that home.
It was an amazing battle, right? The back and forth, and Sync trying to attack, Thighs was trying to defend. So a lot of those movements happening right at the cross, right at the line. It was tough for Downlands to defend themselves, and it is complicated when we begin the game behind like they're doing, to regain the confidence, to regain the chance to build your own plays over here is going to be tough. And they're going to, anyways, need to do that and reset the mentality and get back to the game.
And Raiden will challenge here, just tries to shield it away from Napu. Couldn't quite extend a little bit further like he wanted to. Be able to get right back into the play, though. I like that, staying in the play. You may be tempted to grab that 100 boost. Really can cause a little bit more of an impact, especially if you're low boost versus no boost at all. Gives that opportunity to continue on to, and Coop. Good communication as well to try to get on that ball, too.
Yes, you want to stay in the play. You want to stay plugged in with us, because it's going to be very, very, very cool to see how the teams are going to be getting to the results and building the plays as well. As we see already a little bit of Nop fighting against Thai. These guys are absolutely, they are entangling each other. They are trying to understand how the opponent's thinking, and these first seconds are essential for that. But now we already move to the final portions of the first map and game. We see already almost a minute on the clock, and that's totally favoring Franklin Panthers, as Downey have not been able to still shoot or be aggressive as they want to be. There it is, where we're talking about the last minute, and we have a little bit of Sync fighting again and shooting. He was the guy able to wrap this one up. He goes for the hat trick. What a player. This is the student that you want to have in your college, right? This guy he has been the name of the game, absolutely.
100%. That outside of the game and inside of the game, which it requires to be a Coca-Cola All-Star, and then getting onto this pitch, and then being able to get a hat trick, and then even in the face of a double commit where Coop might have stole that, the communication wasn't on point, instead of just kind of freaking out about it, Coop, number one, was able to set that up with a flip reset. Then X-Sync stayed put and almost got his 4th here as well. Sure enough, they will break through, and the Franklin Panthers showing up in a huge way.
Yeah, Coop also coming from the back and completing this play. Sync was going for a 4th goal, but he has to be solidary enough to also offer his teammate the chance to score with this 4-0 that is already deciding the first game, because Downey, they're not going to have time for a reaction here, Bear.
No, not in this game one. It's all about trying to regain a little bit of your traction here. Take a deep breath, if you will, and maybe gain a little bit of momentum. And that's a good step in the right direction with this shot. Trying to at least sustain a little bit of pressure, because that's been ultimately the issue, because of just the downfield presence you see again. The 4th on the board for X-Sync. And as much as Downey's trying to press in and be heavy pressure, that's what happens. You sacrifice some of that defensive, but it's all in the name of just trying to get one on the board.
It is, and it's tough for Downey, because we see many of the plays are together. They're trying to stick together and, occupy some zones of the field, but it's not possible because Franklin Panthers are being so aggressive. They're being so assertive on building the plays and also getting close to the goal, right? So it is tough when you're kind of far away from the goal yourself. You have to defend so much that you forget what it is that you have to do from the mid portion on. So Downey, they are kind of far away from the chances of scoring, and it's gonna be quite a tough beginning of a series for them, but absolutely reversible. They got a chance to get back to this one, but it was a massive show by Panthers here, Bear.
Yeah, it was 7 shots from Xink alone, but the shooting, it wasn't just shots on net just to take a shot. It was well-created plays that started from their own end of the field. Coop was a big part of that as well, and even not making some plays and making it difficult for Downey to have any kind of breathing room there, and I think was a big difference maker on their end. Raiden did show up and played well. Yeah, you saw a couple shots on net, so whenever they're back into that offensive zone, we did see a little bit of pressure. Now, it's all about creating plays, especially around the Panthers, but that's going to require a little bit more speed. Right now, the Panthers have beat them in that aspect, but you got to be careful not to dive either at some of these balls. If you do that, the Panthers will find a way around you every single time. So it's not just about challenging quickly, but you have to have timely challenges and be able to know and communicate when that next challenge needs to come. I do not count Downey out, especially not in the bracket, but specifically not in this match either. If they're able to at least play with a little bit more speed, a little bit more amplitude, maybe they just need to wake up too. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they're from California. So if they get going, man, they might be hot, but Xink is going to be tough to handle as well.
It's going to be tough for them to get back to this one. Anyways, it's possible. We saw Raiden, right? Raiden was the guy to make some saves. He could have the chance of scoring the goals as well. The team was not, like I said, very aggressive or ramping up their offensive effort just yet. And they got to have the chance of doing that. So from now on, because Panthers, they're going to try to replicate the beginning, right? The early stages of the first game. Are they going to be able to do this? What is Downey going to bring to, up themselves and show more in the second match of the series, Bear?
Starts off in similar fashion. See Coop all the way up to the ceiling. We'll get that next attempt there, too. And if Knob got above that one, it would have been an easy 1-0, but wasn't quite able to make that read. Just based on the traffic that was out in front. Downey couldn't quite track it extremely well, but they were able to get back into the opposite side of the ball. Thighs had an opportunity there, but Xink will keep them at an arm's distance. And Coop right back down to the ball. Thighs couldn't get the bump on him, but a good turn there on Raiden, as he's been a big portion of why Downey's got an opportunity here and comes back big with a play of his own defensively.
Yeah, he was the guy to reverse the direction of the ball, as we could see. Also touching and passing into the offensive field and helping the team to almost score. That was a good attempt, but hitting the crossbar they were. And Panthers, they were appreciative of this, as already they were moving into reversing themselves the direction of the play and the game itself, trying to go for 1-0. There it is. Oh my God, that was a nice shot. Phenom finally bringing this one to the back of the neck. Not a chance by Downey players to react to this one. It was a very, very sharp shot, wasn't it, Bear? And yes, 1-0 so far. Panthers, that's what they wanted.
Exactly what you're looking for. Get right back out. Don't let Downey find any kind of traction throughout this series, and it's certainly been effective. To kick things off, also great pass, Xink Coop. What a save, though, from Virtual Tragedy. Oh, but it's only temporarily as Novel to charge in the box and make it 2-0.
Just that power shot from the back line, amazing and impossible for Downey to defend. He was smart enough, right, to enjoy those milliseconds that High left him behind. So he was the guy to be at the right moment, at the right time. Amazing collective job, I would say, by the Panthers.
Just trying to keep the foot on the gas pedal, too. You see, they don't take a moment off. If you do, Downey has real opportunity to find a little bit of pressure, but right off the kickoff, once again, drew up a play, won it back, gained possession directly back. As long as they have possession and they're feeling good, it makes it almost feel impossible for Downey, who just hasn't been able to find anything on the board here yet. It's been, once again, about, 7.5 minutes without a goal, and that can really play into your mental of like, hey, we need one. It becomes desperation more than it becomes drawing up plays.
Absolutely. They're going to have to find strength somewhere because, like you posed very well, 7 goals against them into the last 2 games. And we could observe, right, that the Downey players were too much together into the defensive field because they need so, as we already see, a nice block by Treasury. Is that going to be enough to build up something ahead, not just, into the back portion of their own field? Because Downey players, they need more. They need to get back to the game urgently. But as I say this, Coop goes there and scores. Yes, again and again. The guy is just building his own name here on the side of Sink, obviously, and Knob.
Yep, and that's what I was concerned about too, right? The diving that I was telling you about, and it feels like it's necessary whenever they are outpacing you. When the boost control has been in the favor of the Panthers, it's an easy tendency to kind of fall into that trap. And I'm definitely not taking away anything from Downey here. I mean,
Yeah.
Franklin Panthers, they've got all-stars on their team. They've got SSLs on their team as well, Grand Champs, right? So this is certainly a learning experience, and what a big save there from Virtual Tragedy. So it is desperation, but their defense and these saves that we're seeing from them is certainly a step in the right direction for them. They're looking to at least build off of something positive, and that's one thing that I've noticed in their game that has been excellent as of late. Obviously, you want to play a little bit more offense, and that was another grand opportunity as that was directed on target by Raiden through some great mechanics. But once again, Franklin Panthers able to shut them down.
Yeah, shutting him down and reversing and getting the game ahead. As we see, Sync always also present defending. Very good and complete player as we see him defending and also attacking his guy to be there and occupy the field. And it's cool how Panthers, they distribute themselves, right? They're never all together in the same spot. That's why some of their goals are usually one guy or two guys built, but no more than that. And Panthers is smartly not over-committing to some plays and decisions. And Downey, they could have a chance using that, right? Creating the combo, creating that kind of trio that is gonna put you in a complicated situation as we hit the final minute on the clock. 3-0. Bear again is looking like a half of a repetition, right? A semi-repetition of the first game because Panthers are dominating this by far. Downey not just yet readjusting enough.
Yeah, they're doing slightly better than we've seen in the previous game. They're certainly adjusting, but you're right. Yeah. It's hard to fight that right answer against a team that's so polished and is constantly on it. I'm definitely not taking away from the work ethic of Downey High School. We've seen them in basically every single spin showcase, and we've seen them improve every single time as well. And even though it's trending towards what could be a Franklin Panthers 3-0 in the series, not only just in this game, barring a turnaround here from Downey, I'm not counting him out by any means, but at this point in time, could be the realistic nature of it. But the double elimination bracket allows you to get back to it. They'll have an easier matchup to maybe warm up, and now they've gotten this experience against a better team. Perhaps that's what they can look for here as Franklin Panthers will put their second on the board and start to run away with the series.
Yes, and you see on the side of Panthers, like how organic they are. You mentioned some of the players in the case of like Sync stepping up and doing the chances and doing the goals and doing the saves, but all these guys, the three of them working so collectively and nicely and polished that they are already stepping up as a potential stronger team for the next phases of the championship. Let's see how Downey are going to be coming to the third game, or if it's already, like the kind of lower bracket talk, if you're already thinking ahead and, hey guys, we need to change this and that, because something needs to happen as we see that they haven't been so effective at maybe switching positions and changing the bigger landscape here against Panthers.
Yeah, we did see Virtual Tragedy take a more defensive role in that and really trying to allow Raiden to get out there on the offensive side of the ball. I will say that 6 shots on net this time around versus the only a couple, I believe, that they had in the previous game is certainly what you want to see, right? You want to make adjustments. You want to, you can start looking ahead as far as like the lower bracket and where you might go should things not turn around. But what I would be doing is regardless of what happens in this next game, be able to take steps in the right direction, not waste the time on the field here, continue to figure out exactly what roles you do need to play, even if it's through the rest of the tournament, or to make the right adjustments here to roll into not only the rest of the series, but into this game number 3 now with a head of steam and a positive mental attitude.
Yes, because you have the chance to do that inside of the whole adrenaline zone that the game, right, offers you, especially against a strong opponent like Franklin Panthers. So yeah, why not use that time? Let's see how they're going to be readjusting and what changes they can do. But definitely Raiden as a player could be the solution. That could be the offensive key missing for them here. Moving forward from now on in the championship, we see highs flying up. And on the side of Panthers, it's a matter of wrapping this one up. But we have to also say, Bear, that, I mean, so the smaller score that we saw from the first game to the second one already shows that Downey, they could be improving, yes, both defensively and offensively. Not scoring yet, but looking more robust and strong on the back line, especially.
Keep up high, trying to direct that one down, almost had a piece of it. But Downey was able to hold off on it at least, try to get to that one first, but it's X-Sync that gets the ball away before the demo happens, takes him off the pitch. Ball back down in the hands of Thigh. Now it's Nop that's launched it towards that top left corner, but didn't quite connect and convert on it. And X-Sync will loft one there, and Virtual Tragedy turned on it. Granted, it might have been a little bit late, but Coop wasn't there, luckily for Downey, so you escaped unharmed, even though it looked like a dangerous sequence against.
Yeah, see now, Downey also in the same play. All the guys actually together, excuse me, trying to go for the same call. It's cool to see these efforts, even on the corner of the field. They gotta try this. They gotta try reverse the scenario. It is already a different game. You see Panthers maybe going slower and going, I don't know, more strategically and not just going for the game like before. So Downey are using this surely to learn a little bit more on their opponents and also get stronger for the remainder of the championship, as we see some of these aerial battles dominating the game. Number 3 so far, and Coop try to go for the effort again. A bunch of players in this corner. Yeah, it's a very intense fight for the ball bear.
Continue to try to battle it out. Virtual tragedy now. Finds a teammate there in thigh. So they're finding those passing plays, which has been a little bit of an issue, and really playing a little bit farther back and allowing the play to come to you. Certainly not advised, usually against some of these high-paced teams. But now they're just finding better opportunities as Franklin Panthers are a little bit confused by it, trying to adjust in their own regards, still playing on pressure in the meantime. But I do like the possession game that Downey's been playing. Keep the ball close and then dribble down the field, because then you cause touches like this, a chance to push into the box as well, but Coop will shield it. Now it's Virtual Tragedy trying to turn on it as well. This one will pop up high. Xing should get to it, and he does. We'll throw it to an open corner, but Thigh will be the next to touch, and he's directly back into the zone looking for a teammate, but shut down yet again by Nop, and this will bounce out to midfield.
Sync, the guy, like we said, the name of the game, going and getting closer to the play and to the opponents. And I think the match gets to a very dangerous zone here, right? Because when you don't have a goal, I mean, anything can happen. It's kind of a crazy zone where Downey could find very well their own goal and could just complicate things. But as I say this, oh my God, I just jinxed them. Goal scores and brings Panthers ahead again for this game number 3. Oh my Lord, that was so cool to see. Downey, they were all, thinking they're building something, right? They were like, oh my God, now we can step up, we can do something different and special. And as they thought that, Panthers were the one to score.
Yeah, and it was all from Xing as well, who got his boost taken by his own man, by the way, in that little sequence. And even still, same calm, cool, collected, able to still make that play, get an extra pass into that box for a teammate. So even when things are not going well for Xing, he finds a way to turn it around. That's why the Franklin Panthers right back on top here in Game 3.
Yes, and it's looking like, yeah, they're going to be advancing. Because Sink is that kind of player, I can already tell. I know, we all know this kind of player when he pops up. That kind of player that can decide on one touch, one movement, one wrong intention that you have or a lack of attention, and you're going to be, annihilated. You're going to get scored against. And that's what Panthers did, potentially for nice effort, but saved at the last second by downlane players.
And a great passing play now developing here. They need this one.
Yep.
And that opportunity is going to be shut down yet again, and guess who? Xing, once again, Virtual Tragedy having some issues trying to settle that one down, and no hesitation attitude from Nop, able to drive in. Franklin Panthers up 2-0.
Oh, wow. That was a very, very cool one. Again, the effort that these guys put, as duos, as trios, it just pays off. Franklin Panthers are stepping up so well and so nicely, and very much in the end, in a dramatic way, they found this victory so far versus Downey. I was truly hoping, Bear, I gotta be honest. I know as a caster I need to be neutral, but I was expecting Downey to score a goal just to prolong more of the series, but I don't know if that's gonna be the case.
Certainly no time now. Coop again off that corner. It'll not only be a sweep, it'll be another goal here for Xing to make it 3-0. And Franklin Panthers might complete the full ultimate sweep here. No goals allowed here. Downey, they found good moments. They kept it close in the last couple of games. They found the right adjustments. So I encourage any colleges out there that are looking for players, especially from Downey High School. This team is excellent, but the Panthers just a little bit stronger here too. You can say that Coop, Nop, and Xing are also excellent candidates, not only for your college, but also for this tournament too, as they each of them get on the board there in the gold column, and they will win this by the count of 3-0.
Very good job by Panthers. Yes, indeed, not conceding one single goal. But on the side of Downey, like you said, a very, very clear path and curve of learning. Right, they learned their lesson. They were able to improve from a first, I would say, overreading kind of game to getting to this last one. Having the chance to understand better their movements and slowing down the game versus Panthers, so they can surely replicate that versus stronger opponents in the remainder of the championship. As we're going to be seeing some of the best moments there, it was a very, very fast victory by Panthers,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping that we got the chance of seeing more from Panthers and Downey as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like based on the replays alone, you can find a play outwards. It was really suffocating in a lot of these moments. So Downey's certainly writing notes. They're a very hard working team. And sometimes, talent and hard work can in this moment at least propel the Panthers forward. But Downey learned a lot here in this one, and I'm very confident this team be able to turn it around in the lower bracket because they've got a couple of years ahead of them for Thies and Ray, and we saw Virtual Tragedy and his defensive prowess as a senior as well from Downey. So they've got some hope in the future, and even in the lower bracket. But it was Franklin Panthers who were just able to be just a one step ahead throughout the rest of the series.
Absolutely, and it's cool to see that, Franklin Panthers, you got guys with the same moment at the college cycle. So these guys can definitely improve their own gameplay from this year to the next year. We're talking about a team and a trio that has a lot of potential. It's gonna even grow even more over the year. And talking about Downey, they're gonna have the chance now in the lower bracket to reset. And it's awesome to have that chance, right? So that's why this showcase format and layout is amazing, because we got a chance to see them talking and adjusting some points. I'm really hoping to cast them again.
Yeah, 100%. And they have a grand opportunity, like we mentioned, to make it theirs. So you'll have to kind of follow along with us, and we'll get to see a bunch of examples of those same high schoolers looking for those opportunities. So you don't want to go anywhere. Stay with us. Orbital and Lane back with you at the next matchup as we'll take this quick break and be right back with you.
Once again, back here with some more Rocket League action, and now we are headed into the winners semifinals. This is where things get going. We got to be honest here, Lane. We're starting to get to that point where, as you mentioned, the competition is going to get fiercer and fiercer. And remember, this one is pretty much to reach that winners finals, that point where you can pretty much claim that you are one of the top dogs here on the evening. Of course, we are going to be starting off with PlayJuber versus Franklin Panthers. PlayJuber, of course, coming in as our second seed, and Franklin Panthers, who I believe we saw earlier, go ahead and maintain their spot as the sixth seed.
Absolutely. PlayJuber, are going to be coming to the screen for the first time versus a team that we have seen before. So Franklin Panthers definitely beating Downey earlier today in a very one-sided game. Now, I doubt very much this one is going to be as one-sided as the previous ones we have been seeing, because these two rosters are very strong. And PlayJuber themselves, we have to mention that they were the former WhatsApp guys, the champions of the last carry to college that we have showcase here, as we already have a first goal rolling up. Doesn't want to know about the pass from PlayJuber, and he just scores earlier.
And that one just seemed like PlayJuber was just it caught a little bit unawares. I'm not sure where exactly that came from, but it just kind of rolled on in and just left them a little bit perturbed there. So Franklin Panthers, again, as a 16, have gone ahead and looked very good so far. And I want to give credit where credit is due. Franklin Panthers have upset the third seed as well. So now looking to go ahead and upset the second seed.
Right, and I mean, that was quite a statement. No long intros. Panthers told me, actually, right? Lennox, cut to the chase. We're already winning this one. 1-1 nil. Interesting. Yeah, PlayJuber having to now understand the pace of the game and try to, get inside of the series and do their own work, because that was a massive one. We see Knob actually, and I'll choose also fighting for the ball. It's a collective effort, as we already have Sync, the massive striker from earlier on the side of Panthers, also trying to go for the ball. And it's going to be always risky whenever he's close to the ball, because this man has been one of the MVPs, I would say, in the entire day.
I think in the same vein, we're going ahead. And I also just realized Plagiaber is a combination of 3 players' names. That's why it's Plagiaber. So my brain is
Amazing.
completely...
Makes sense.
Yes, I know. Like, I just realized that one as I go ahead and also
too.
say, hey, let me go ahead and show you why our names are a team name as well. It is going to be a quick tap in by Plexi, the beginning part of the team.
Right, amazing. I have just learned that. I love these combinations. Plexi, Juice, Stan, and Tiber. That's, again, why you have Plegiber scoring the equalizer, so finding their own way versus the Panthers. Quite a game, quite a beginning, and that's what we love. How much of a tied-up game is going to be. And we see Sync trying to shoot for this one. We have them defending, actually, as Tiber or Tiber is going to fight for the ball in an upper portion of the field. We have Juice as well, and it's going to be a juicy game and very, very equal one, apparently.
I think for their own, we are going to get that mix as Juice is just waiting, as you mentioned, a chance in. But Plagiaber, so far, they have done a stalwart job on their defense, but they want to get a goal or more. Again, they are the 2nd seed here, very highly ranked individuals, and until that point, it might be a chance. There it is, streak along the ground. Plexi sends one high.
Yeah, good job. There was a high ball, like you mentioned, and coming in hot against Sync was trying to defend this one. Not possible for him. So just like that, we have Plexi scoring twice. It's already a very, very good statement. As we know, Tiber, I'm going to say Tiber, it was the other player to score. So we have been seeing these efforts, and they are doing so nicely now versus Panthers, reversing and getting to the game.
Franklin Panthers, we saw them earlier be very, very dominant and took a very narrow series over All-Stars 1 earlier in the winners quarterfinals. So, I mean, they're no strangers to going up against tough opponents.
Right.
But right now, Franklin, they are kind of pushed onto their own side. Take a look at this. Plagiaber have their net wide open, and yet they're comfortable in the stance. Juice sets it up in the middle. Teammate comes in, and I wonder if that was a little bit of miscommunication. That could have been a goal on the board. Ball rolls by, though, as it's not going to go in. Plagiaber get another turn, but Franklin Panthers say, we're not done yet. A little bit of a slow roll. Light bump, but not going to work. Out a boost. Tiber tried to dance it up and above. Unfortunately, Franklin Panthers' 3rd turn at a goal denied by Juke.
Yeah, and Sync was the one to be there to defend this one. Coop as well, trying to join the efforts. The game goes to the middle portion, and Plagiaber, yeah, maintaining the efforts, maintaining the goal, but Joyce comes and expands for them. That was a very, very good follow-up. 3-1, as I was trying to cool down their pace, but they came, and they just did it again. And Juice was the first one now to come and show what else is possible in this very, very middle portion of the game. Panthers now being totally countered, and I don't know if they're gonna be scoring. They come and show me, yes, that's gonna happen. Nop goes for it once more.
I love the fact that Franklin Panthers basically just answered back. They said, hey, you're going to score on us. We're going to score back. And they are in contention now for one of the fastest goals that we've seen here on the mainstream thus far. So even though Plagiaber were able to get a goal of their own, put themselves up at 3, Franklin Panthers able to answer back and are now looking a little bit sharper, maybe looking to tie it up as they try and set up a 1-2 play. Unfortunately, Nop is not there to finish it off with a 3rd tap, so it will go to the wayside, but almost a minute left here in this game. Could be the main calling guard as Plagiaber tries to dance it low. Almost an open net, and you do! Wow. Plagiaber gets their 4th of the game.
That was a very good one by Plexi once more. You know, seeing how the movement of the ball is going to go, and yeah, being the last one to touch on it. Good response, right? As Panthers, they were having an op twice as the man that scored in this occasion. He was the guy to bring the team forward. And I don't know, Orbital, if I like that much this setup that Panthers have here as Plagiaber score once more. Because before, when Panthers were playing versus Downey, right, they had Sync being the guy to strike more, and the other buddies were like defending a little bit more in this matter. But here we see a different layout of things, and that's not helping Panthers as much when it comes to goals.
It really, really isn't. They kind of fall into the wayside, and now, especially with those
Right.
goals coming in here, it seems like they lost a lot of their magic. Another dead ball, as that's Plagiaber to basically see the front door is open, and they are raiding the house. This is brutal now. This is a quick twist by, and it's now 6 goals to 2.
We have to remember that Franklin Panthers, they were the ones to open the scoreboard, right? And then right after Plagiaber, they did like 2-1, but now 6-2. It's brutal. I think that's the best word to define the game. Last minute rolling here, and Plagiaber obviously are going to be killing the clock as Panthers are talking to understand what is happening. This is a disaster for them in the beginning of the series.
Hurts to say, but it's the truth, and truth has to be said sometimes when it's in front of us. Plagiaber, they know how to play the game. There's a reason they're the 2nd seed. And Franklin Panthers, we've seen them fight very, very hard. They know how to score goals. They know how to get in front of that ball, as we see it right there. It's kind of a consolation prize at the end of the day. But, I mean, I don't think Plagiaber are really going to allow that one to play any further. So, once again, Plagiaber, they're comfortable. 15 seconds left.
There was definitely a consolation prize. I like the way you posted it, because Panthers, they're going to have to use what they have built so far into the second game. Now, on the side of Plagiaber, they're showing us now why they were the winners in the last Carry to College promoted by Stay Plugged In. And not only that, but like winning without losing any series on that occasion. And now they are doing almost the same, as we have the final result in our faces, and Plexi was the major striker, right? 7 shots, man, 4 goals for him.
Not just that, I mean, you can see they had well into the double digits. I mean, you look on the other side, it was double digits for Panthers as well, but the conversion rate for them was a little bit rough. I mean, they only had 3 goals total, as we saw, but 10 shots on the goals, so it wasn't for lack of trying. Both teams have shown a very large propensity for very, very good defensive play. And that, to me, is also quite interesting, because it means that this is going to be a tough nut to crack if you're looking as a Plagiaber fan or a Panthers fan either. So both sides, very, very aggressive, very willing to open up space on their own side of the field if it means a chance at the net.
Right, and I'm curious to see how Panthers are going to respond. They are one of those teams that you can never just take them for granted as the loser on a series. They're gonna, create something different. They have the manpower for that. They have Sink, which has already shown his best offensive side today. So I'm eager to see more of him inside of the series. As Plagiaber, they take the first stance and the first movement here, Orbital. And I love how they were provoked to that, right? They were starting slowly, and then like they had a pressure against them, to work into their favor of, hey, waking up, wake up, because you need to do more. And that's how the large amount of goals came to the occasion.
And I think that also shows the weight of the kickoff, because we did see a lot of the Panthers be able to get a lot of great work done. That's why they were able to go up into their second goal and the like. But we saw Plagiaber actually mess around with the kickoffs a few times. They were able to kind of space out. They did a couple fakes here and there, a 1-2 tap and everything of the sort. So they were able to make use of the fact the ball kind of reset towards the center, and that's why we saw, I think, such an expansive set of goals very, very rapidly. We went from, a 1-0 stance to a 6-3 in a blink of an eye.
Absolutely. The game got totally different from the beginning. And yeah, getting out of the sleepy zone is always helpful. And that's what happened to Plagiaber, as they were the winners initially. And now Tiber just comes and scores this one. That was a nice long-standing shot against Franklin Panthers to change things around after Coop tried going for it, but it was not enough.
I love the fact that you see a third member from Franklin Panthers just speed across the screen right there, just like, hey, I'm here. Don't worry. But it was a difficult spot to be in. So very, very nicely done, as you mentioned. And that's...
Oh, my God.
That was just a mistake. I have no other words for it. Look at this. Tiber just in the right place at the right time, but barely touched it. So, I mean, Franklin Panthers weren't expecting that either. Tiber with 2 under their belt in under 45 seconds.
And it's the second time, right? It's the second time where Coop is caught, with like his pants down in a way, because he was not able to defend that one. He was almost close to the ball, but almost doesn't win games in the end of the day. And on the other hand, he has not been scoring goals so far for the team today. So he needs to decide what is the side that he's going to be helping more the team at, because it's just not enough so far. And Pledgeable, being a mistake from Panthers or not, they're scoring. That's what matters, Orbital, right here.
Really, really does. And Coop right now is saying, hey, I want a chance on that as well. Two defenders fly right by Plagiaver. We're ready to kind of get a hold of it. And Franklin Panthers, for the first time at a chance at a goal, Plexi lets it roll on by, realizes that all defenders are here. Franklin Panthers now on the defense. It's going to be pinched right back out. Sink, though, trying to run it up. If you have an open net, you can. Are you going to be able to dunk it in? You missed the ball. And unfortunately, that play doesn't work. Now Plexi gets a chance. It's like, hey, let me show you how it's really done. Oh, the defender.
Oh, yeah.
Easy goal. Plexi says, gimme.
What a magisterial Castile line by you. I love that. And Plexi just bringing it in the right pace, in the right spot. There it is, 3-0 versus Panthers. These Panthers are beginning to look like small kitties. They are not roaring and they're not doing their jobs here. It's getting complicated, guys. Wake up, because you're able to do more than that, as Tiber defends very nicely. We have an attempt by them, the follow-up. Yeah, Coop trying to show more. What a game. And so far, Pledgeable doing their job, doing their homework.
This is out of this world. Plagiaver really coming alive here. And the Panthers, as you said, just being a little bit quiet in their own. Maybe they're a little bit more reserved and realizing that, hey, maybe they got to sharpen their claws, hunt up some smaller prey. But unfortunately, you're up against the big dogs now. So is there any smaller prey to hunt? Great demo to come out as Plexi denies any further aggression and just annihilates that one player. So feels a little bit bad. Now it's a fight on the turf of the Panthers. They're going to try and take a low dribble. But again, Plagiaver just in every aspect seeming to be faster and just a little bit more concise on where they want to play.
Right. And also creating plays, as we could see from the sides to the middle. Juice just had a chance of doing a nice forward shot. Obviously not enough to go to the goal, but Panthers not creating these opportunities of attack so far. So that's how they're becoming the praise here, obviously, versus Pledgeable, who are doing such a great job just carrying the ball around. And, if the clock keeps going this way and the game keeps going this way, Orbital, we're talking about it too, Neil, because Panthers not being able to score so far and actually getting scored by Juice, it's a recipe for a nightmare.
I just don't see this going any other way right now. Plagiaver now getting free reign over the entire pitch. There is not a dance in the world that I think the Panthers are really able to fight back. Plagiaver have their number left, right, and center. Juice going for a solo here as they try to run it up. But right now, Franklin Panthers. I mean, this is one of those points where I would normally say, like, start getting aggressive. Start getting into the demo field. Start just trying to run the Plagiaver out of the space. But unfortunately, I don't even think that they can hit because Plagiaver are just too dang fast around the pitch.
Yes, they're fast, and like you said before, they're assertive to make the final touch. Somehow, the game totally going to their favor. Tiber fighting for the ball now. Plexi is close to him. 1 minute on the clock. It's going to get even more complicated for Panthers, not finding themselves a chance to reverse the game. As we see the battle happening again, the wall happening to obviously help Juice in this movement. He's trying to go for it. 1 minute. Yeah, it's pretty much decided, apparently. Panthers losing their energy, comparing here them to the first game. They're not being and behaving as the same kind of roster, so it's tough and not getting creative and not changing things around.
I feel bad because it definitely feels like the Panthers had the right idea at the beginning, but they just kind of run out of steam here. And so Plagiaver, as you mentioned, just going to take over, going to be that front runner, and Franklin Panthers, they have to go back to the drawing board. They have to look at game 3 and go, okay, what went right? What went wrong? And of course, there's a lot that went a little bit sideways as Tiber snipes in yet another, which I think is the 3rd total in this game alone. I mean, off the side as well. Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate there.
And you see Tiber even getting comfortable to score the goals, something that he has not been doing so much in the championship, as we have more of a Plexi and Juice sometimes. So that's to show that the squad itself is very, very comfy. Working versus Franklin Panthers, we're going to have to shuffle things massively around for the next game. As the series is looking one-sided once more, this is something we were not expecting to see, right? Orbital, such a already decided game for one of the sides. Tiber coming up and showing his tactician qualities. He was the guy to put the centered balls on, and we have the final numbers once more. Not so massive on the side of Panthers this time, kind of an economical show up when it comes to the numbers, but Pledgeber doing their job and going for a massive win.
Yep, this is just, they are going to look to just be that dominating force. And I want to show off because Coop did what Coop tried. 3 saves in
Precisely.
there is an amazing number to have. Very, very nicely done. But you were stifled in most other areas. So Plagiaber was just willing to kind of fight it from start to finish. And I don't see them stopping. You said Tiber hasn't really been showing up too much. Tiber with 3 goals? Are you kidding me? Already showing that, hey, listen, there's a reason our names are here in portions of our name are in the team name as well. This is a squad that quite obviously has played together for a long time, very willing to play together as well, to highlight one player every so often. And just this game was Tiber's to take away.
Right, and this was precisely the game of some of the players who were shy before stepping up. So it's the case of Coop. It's the case of obviously, excuse me, of Tiber. So they were showing their qualities now. They were doing more and shuffle things into their favor. Obviously, Pledgeber, they were the ones to make this one happen. And with new heroes, we're gonna have maybe the same story. And the story is Pledgeber trying to take over Panthers once more.
Yep, you got to go ahead and see what you can do there. Let's see if the Panthers are able to fight back. Are their claws honed? Are they ready for this battle? Personally, I'm not too sure, but they can always prove me wrong. And right now, Plagiaberg going ahead and just kind of getting comfortable here. I love this little rock here. You go ahead and set it up very nice and slow. A little bit of pinch out to the side. Tiber set it up actually in front of goal as well, but Plexi without any boost wasn't able to follow through. So you can see the play making being set up here. But Panthers, they're just going to try and swipe a goal away on their own, out of boost on their end as well, though.
Right, and they were attacked by 2 players on the side of plays. We're having the chance to reverse the ball direction. Teams are making that kind of false, but there it is. The goal comes for Siak. The first goal on their side, that's so crucial, so important, coming from the air, using the crossbar and touching it down to the back of the neck. Yes, 1-0 for Panthers, and that's the different landscape that they needed, scoring first.
It took a while. It took a very, very long time for them to be able to pull that off, but it was very, very
Right.
necessary, and now they are very, very happy about this turn of events, I think, at least. So you go ahead and make what you can. Panthers, though, you need more than just one. You know Plagiaber are going to come out with a little bit of fire under their belts. They're going to say, hey, we don't want to allow you to sit on that goal for too long. So Panthers, they need to look for that extra, and it looks like they might have found it.
Right, let's see how Pledgeber are going to respond to this one. As you posed well, they got different resources. They got a little early striker, on Plexi. They got a late striker on Tiber. So they got the resources. They got the chances if Panthers do not keep working. So yes, they absolutely need discussion. They need to go for 2-3 goals versus Pledgeber to reopen the series. And it will be very interesting to see that because it has not happened while we cast, right? The games displayed so far have not been composed by massive reverses, as we see Pledgeber equalizing this one. Yeah, for the sake of the series, 1-1.
I love the little stop and go. You saw that ball kind of drop into the center, and you're like, okay, I'm good. I don't want to get too crazy. So very, very neatly done. And again, Pledgeber, as we mentioned, their combination plays are so dang good. And, oh, that was almost a chase. I was watching Juice kind of roll by that one. But Pledgeber, they have great setup plays, and the Panthers have yet to kind of break that so far. So for Pledgeber, getting 1 score back with 3 minutes left gives you a lot of time to work with here. You're going to go ahead and carry this one. Look again, Pledgeber trying to get a nice little bounce, but a nice backwards reverse. Panthers looking for another angle. Tiber making sure that gets out of their goal area.
Right, because it was looking kind of dead, but it's dangerous, that kind of ball, just pinging through. And yeah, you need to reverse that as soon as possible. That's what they did. Now, the equalizer changed things because the game gets more tense. It could be the final game, the final match versus from Pledgeber versus Panthers. Let's see how that's gonna roll, as we have not fighting for it. Plexi changing the way of the ball. We have Sync close to it. This is the defensive field, though. He wants to be forward. He wants to attack more. He's the top scorer on that team for sure, considering the event today. So, yeah, I'm waiting to see more from Sync, not only in a certain portion of the game, but all over it.
Let's see what they can do right now. It's a little bit of a slow roll. Juice goes up high. Tried to solo this one out. And time is burning down here. Tiber waiting on the edge, playing that kind of a wingman on the edge. Coop, though, trying to diverge any sort of aggression. And even tried to take it away, but Plexi once again just kind of playing with their food right now. Everyone kind of go for an aerial battle, which we don't see too often. That was an attempt on the goal. Another one coming through, and it looks like no defender was there. And that is going to be Nop to wake up. Had a couple shots on goal, had a couple saves, and now a goal to their own.
So nicely timed by him, right? Coming from the corner or from the side to the corner, that was an amazing final touch. Putting Panthers ahead in a very, very complicated moment of the game where both teams were measuring forces. There was not a clear sign of anyone winning this one, and Plexi just responds fast enough with a brilliant touch by Juice. Again, he goes and he makes it happen.
I mean, Tiber even calling out between two defenders like, hey, I got the ball, get your butt over here. That was amazing. Plexi yet again, and now we get to see this kickoff. Plexi have done this before. Off kickoff, they've been able to rip away a goal, but Coop was able to read it off on that left side. Plexi rolling it out in front. We are tied at 2-2. Might as well be 0-0. Attempts at a corner goal, not going to work. Sync isn't able to pick it up.
Man, the third game's always getting super tense, super unpredictable. I love this. And Panthers trying to create this advantage, trying to go for it as we have Sync moving forward, getting close to the goal box. He's gonna try to come from the upper spot. This is Sync again. The response came from the side of Plexi, and it was Juice to bring it to the floor and to their advantage, to their favor. Good job by Plexi, staying alive in the game, right? Not allowing themselves to also be overshadowed here by Panthers.
I think that's 100% the right call. Plexi is saying, listen, we're two games up. We can do a little bit more work. Not try to run it on their own because a demo came out, so you knew a team play wasn't going to come through. Sync sends it off the backboard. We're reaching that 20-second moment. Plexi, though, has a chance one-on-one with some of the defenders, but they leave it go to the wayside. Not picks it up. And now it's going to be a flyby back. 10 seconds here. Tiber, what can you do? You're out of boost. You send it high, pinch it down to the ground. Plexi is there to try and pick it up with the rest of the team, but Nop instead gathers it for their own. Are they going to be able to carry it back? Quick touch, Coop! Able to streak it in with 0 seconds left! Franklin Panthers fight back in game 3!
Are you kidding me? Franklin Panthers finding a goal in the last millisecond versus Plexi. Oh my God, this is so cool to watch. And as I was almost, getting the sentence ready to say that we're going to be able to see another overtime today after Wubway playing an overtime versus Magic earlier today, but that didn't happen because Panthers, they finally brought their claws out of the pocket with a very, very nice and final massive shot on that occasion. 3-2, Plexi being overtaken in this one orbital.
That has to hurt. Plexi as a squad, they were doing so well in the shooting category. You look at that, almost 11 shots on goal, and yet it was a last-minute pass. Nop carried it through the air with the last of their boost, by the way. And everyone on the Panther side scoring a goal apiece. That is truly a team effort right there.
Absolutely. That's how you get back from a complicated series, right? After a daunting start. And they're going to have to use more of that fuel of recovery to obviously get back on track against Plexi on this occasion, because Plexi now are going to be the ones to chase and to make things happen as we already move forward into the next game. This is super cool, super thrilling and exciting to see Orbital as Panthers. Yeah, man, they found their energy. They found what they needed at the very last seconds. We almost already had a first goal from Plexi here. Didn't happen because Panthers were well positioned.
100%. Plexi, they're upset. I think they are very upset here.
Absolutely.
I think anyone would be upset with a 0-second goal. I think anyone would be upset if they're on the receiving end of a 0-second goal. Panthers got a new lease on life, but Plexi they are not happy about where this broke out. So I'm expecting to see a few more demos, maybe a few more walls to work with here. And they are going to run it around, as I was talking about, but no one was able to pick it up because of the defenders in the middle. So the Panther is not exactly thrilled about what's going on here. And they are going to test this one out. Quick push, run, and go. Coop was waiting. And now we get another chance on this angle of Panthers waiting for their moment to strike and get another defensive end. Plagiaber, how are they going to dig this one out? 1 minute expires with almost no goals.
Right, and the lack of goals can be very misleading as well. But Panthers on their side, they're going to have to use that momentum, that fuel to believe again, and show that they can, step up versus Plagiaber. And obviously not wait so much to also make the movements, where we have some striking and offensive options and attempts here. In this case, as Plexi goes up for the aerial play, trying to shoot it to the goal. But there it is, we have Sync to defend this one, not only him, but Nop as well. And Coop is helping the team as much. So it is a collective effort from Panthers to enhance the barrier, enhance the defensive system, and reverse the game towards the side of Plagiaber, because Plagiaber are trying to command the movements. They're trying to make a statement here.
Plagiaber, for their own. I am curious what's going through their minds here. They're taking things a lot slower. It feels like Panthers have also kind of slowed things down, and this game just feels a lot more measured than others. But there it is, left side flank, and Plexi off the right side of my screen came out of nowhere, it felt like, but they had it all planned. 1 to Plagiaber.
Yeah, some confusion on the corner, and Plexi found the right angle and the right speed to bring this one up to the back of the neck. Plagiaber also finding the 1-0. Amazing job to try to cool down efforts from Panthers, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough, because we already have an attempt by Sync. He was being helped, but then was rebuffed. So Panthers also needing to keep the focus and keep the energy now, because it's now or never for them and for Plagiaber.
100%. You got to play this one smart. This is going to be Plagiaber playing for their lives once again. We've seen them take the nice and slow road before. We have seen them, go very, very comfortably with only 1 or 2 goals. And as you mentioned all the way back in game 1, it's like when they're woken up is when we see this terrifying force be weighed in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see just a single goal or only 2 goals in there for the remainder of this game. So for the Panthers, you have to know this is possibly coming. Great defensive play from them. They've only allowed 1 goal so far. And the Panthers are just like, okay, let's see if we can do some work. Full boost now being utilized. Low roll. Lose control of the ball, though. As Nop was almost able to carry it in. There's a pass to the teammate, but it's not going to work.
It is an interesting battle, isn't it? As you defined very well, because Plagiaber, they're the kind of roster that need to be woken up. But then Panthers, they're not, on their hand, a team that knows how to impose themselves and create a lot of goals in a row. So it is a battle of who's going to be poked first, who's going to be, provoked to become the leader. They're not natural leaders, apparently. But with that said, Plagiaber, they made a better first half of series, and now Panthers are trying to do that as much. They already found themselves in the first game into the last game, the last occasion we've seen these teams clashing against each other. So Plagiaber now obviously fighting for the series, and Panthers fighting to stay in the upper spot of the brackets.
Oh, and Plagiaber, we're going for a cross pitch play there. Didn't really pan out for them, but honestly, 1 minute left. Franklin Panthers, they need to find something. Juice, though, says, nah, you're not going to find it. Destroys the Coop in tow. And that means Franklin Panthers have to relinquish control. The Panthers needing to find some opportunity. Plexi goes high. Coop ready to try and diverge, but that's a low pitch on the ground. An attempt by Tiber to pick it up, but it's not going to work.
Right. Oh, my God. Final 30 seconds. Nop has been such a reliable scorer in previous games. Let's see what else he can bring to this squad. As we have Plexi attacking as well. We have Juice joining the efforts. This ball is dangerously on the Panthers side. We have Tiber as much, and we're gonna be seeing Plexi trying to go for the ceiling shot. He's very good at that spot. Plagiaber are gonna be taking the victory in the series. It's the final seconds. We are seeing Panthers being defeated at this moment, and there it is. 1-0 is also a very good victory, but the ball's not still on the floor. There we have Plagiaber being the victors. Very, very good job It was a very, very grinding, tough game for both sides, Orbital, but there it is. Plexi were the ones to beat him and stay alive in the upper portion of the bracket.
Here's the deal. Plagiaber might have gotten the victory, but Franklin Panthers stole the spotlight. I don't care what anyone says. They came in here as the 6th seed. They were able to roll through the number 2 seed. Nope, number 3 seed. I do apologize. They were able to take down All Stars 1, which unfortunately we did not watch personally. But they came in here and with a Game 3 0-second goal, I think that takes away, unfortunately, too much of the spotlight for me because we saw what they can do. And yes, outclassed in most other areas, but they never stopped fighting till the very end. So for Plagiaber, they have to say, hey, we had the right idea, we won the series, but man, we cannot let up for a second.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Because frankly, Panthers, they have showed in many occasions that they can still polish themselves, they can still make a better job at taking the game on their hands at first and being the first one to make the movements and to set the pace. They were not able to do that obviously in the beginning of the series, but they could do that after. Plagiaber, though, they had already built that cushion, right? So when you are the first one to make things happen, you're able also to rely on the management pace of things and just rob the series. That's what they did. In the end of the day, Plagiaber, they were more consistent overall considering the series. But I agree with you. I think Panthers, they showed that you can still steal the spotlight and you can still make things happen in the end.
Of course, and now we also get to see another type of upset occur. First was the fact that Panthers made it in, which I don't want to call a full upset, but we have another upset in there, which is Wubway, who we watched earlier, lose out to Dreamland, who are the 4th seed here, who we saw play earlier on as well against Rand. They were looking very, very comfortable, but we were still saying, hey, things are looking messy. So honestly, Lane, I'm excited to see where our winners finals go. We're going to go to a short break and get ready for the winners finals matchup between Dreamland and Plagiaber. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, as we are set for our lower semi-finals. We do have the matchup here, and it is one that we were not expecting here. Wubway, the number 1 seeded team, a squad that we thought was going to make it, is not in. Starlight have won 2-1. They will be facing off against Franklin Panthers.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very interesting game because, yeah, two teams that had to fight harder into the lower brackets spot of our championship and are going to have to, after that, Orbital, face no one less than Dreamland. So it's going to be tough anyways. It's going to be a complicated game. No matter how, they're going to have to strive and fight, not only to survive, but to try to go back to the upper bracket versus Plagiaber, as we already have the first movements and a goal from Starlight. That was so fast. We already have a leadership here.
That was as quick as you could say. I think only second to the goal that we saw earlier, which was 4-second goal. This one took 5, so we're just increasing by a second every single time. But already you can see Starlight getting very, very aggressive, and I like what they're doing as well. As we can see, they are ramping up as they lost out in their second round of play, I believe, up in the upper quarterfinals against Plagiaber. But that's a goal right back. Franklin Panthers, as I was reading the scoreboard, said, hey, look at the scoreboard.
Right, and that was a fast response. I was just going to say that Starlight were coming more heated up since they just faced Wubway and had, you know, the long work that they had to finally defeat them on a 2-1 maps or games series just earlier today. And on the other hand, Franklin Panthers also winning against Magic, but through a 2-0 edge and advantage in this case. But then, no matter how, both teams are just coming and gonna have to fight and, you know, strive to succeed, because yeah, it's an it's a game that eliminates you in the end of the day, because if you lose, you're out. If you win, you're gonna have still a chance. The equalizer was as fast as the first goal here, as Panthers, yeah, gonna have to prove their point versus Starlight. Both sides showing their best. We have already seen Panthers during the day, not Starlight though, but yeah, for the first time we're gonna be showing them onto the mainstream.
Let's see what they can do here, because this is going to be the big test. But Franklin Panthers showing off in their own right. Said, listen, Starlight might be on the come up and up, but we will challenge just as well. As the triple entendre fight here, as Coop was keeping the defender busy, and Franklin Panthers up 1.
And a very good job again by Nop. Such a good player to erupt this one. And he's usually the finalizer. He's the clutcher. He goes there and offers the last touch for the team. So 2-1. That's a very quick response in reverse as well, as the game gets already very hot since the start. I love that. We have a little bit of a battle here. Stitch coming from the air, coming from the corner. We have Cope as well. We have Nop. All these star players having to do even better, because it's a very, very tough moment, and obviously space here into the brackets. Like I said, if you lose, you're out, but you're not thinking about that. You just try to do their best and do in the most precise way over here, as Starlight now are going to have to respond to this one, Orbital.
Starlight are still kind of pushing around, and granted, still plenty of time on the clock, 3 minutes to work with. But that is going to be Zach swinging pretty dang well. Franklin Panthers for their own, though. A lot of them are just waiting, but there it is. And in one that I was not expecting, Ghost swings with just a straight-lace shot.
Right, he just got a little bit of the side ramp, the wall. It was amazing, an amazing movement to also put himself up in the right angle and score and shot and shoot, in this case against Panthers. 2-2, that's a good job. That's as fast as he can respond actually in this very decisive game.
It's a great one, and now we gotta wait for a little bit more, because Franklin Panthers, they've been in this exact situation before. They've been in the 2-2 spots. They've been in a lot of these tie situations. And for Starlight, I mean, for their own, they've been fighting as hard as they can, but they came off a grueling 2-1 victory in the lower quarterfinals. So here now, it's a very, very big question. How well are you going to be able to play? We're looking at about 2 minutes left here on the clock. Eyes are open as Sync is able to kind of float on in. Quick bump. Zach says, no, I don't want to deal with you, which is, I think, a very correct response. Now we see a bump back as Sync finds the opportunity. Franklin Panthers, 2 in a row.
2 in a row, and providing the right response that they wanted to provide against Starlight, with Sync being the striker again, as he likes to do. And I'm going to say that over and over again. Coming from the air, very, very sincere, straight shot. And yeah, it worked so well. Panthers now ahead to try to manage the energies and try to manage the time, especially versus Starlight.
And with that time available, Starlight are going to try and fight back. But Franklin Panthers, I mean, they are hungry for the victory. They are hungry to try and make it back into that winner's side, into that revenge match in the grand finals if they can. It'll be a big test for them. Right now, Ghost going on high, gets bumped out. The ball drops a little bit too low for their liking, and Starlight back on the safety. Zach working their way around. Maybe they can find something. It's an opportunity in front of the net, and it hits the crossboard, but it still goes in. Very nicely done.
Man, I'm going to tell you this. Ghost seems to be the hero of the high balls, right? He comes from the hub, bounces it on the floor, and puts it in the back of the net. 3-3, so the equalizer comes again for those 3 guys. Nice job. That's totally unexpected by Panthers. And I was going to just point out that, frankly, Panthers, apparently they have an issue with starting nicely, you know, and with the maximum level of attention. Usually they have a late growth in the series. We have seen this all over the day, all around in the Saturday. And let's see if they're going to be able to find another goal to put themselves ahead again. It is a very good game, and we are already inside of the last minute.
I think for Starlight, as you said, this is that big test. Franklin Panthers, this entire day has been so wild, and what a block to come out here. Starlight being able to defend against that goal, but for Nop stepping up to the plate, was looking for another challenge in. 30 seconds left though, and that might rebound in. Oh boy, Franklin Panthers letting that one get a little bit too close for comfort. Great diverge away from the aggressive pattern, and Coop now looking for their own. Can't redirect. High ball up and around, and that went in. An unfortunate touch by Starlight themselves. Redirects to their own goal.
Oh my God! Yeah, Zach. I think Zach totally helped him on this one. Amazing assist, counter assistant. Oh Lord, that was crazy. That was crazy because Coop was just so much behind, right on the field, still defending that ball with Nop, but still he was able to make the final touch onto the goal. And that was very, very late goal for Panthers, defining the first game 4-3. The final seconds are rolling, and it's gonna be 1-0.
We say that, but we do see a carry out of Starlight here, but it is going to roll to the ground, so it is Franklin
Come on,
Panthers.
Roberto.
And this is starting to become a day of errors, as much as I hate
Right.
to say it. Like, these are situations that feel like they shouldn't be happening, and yet they are huge. Shout out to Ghost for 3 goals in 4 shots. But the Panthers getting a little bit of help from Starlight, and then being able to chase into one of their own has to feel good.
Yeah, very collective effort on the side of Panthers, with Kupin up, especially coming from the back spots of the field, and helping sync with this offensive effort, if we can put it this way. And on the other hand, like I said, we had Panthers fighting a lot, but Starlight were the ones to focus a lot of that offensive on Ghost. And as we know, that's not enough. I mean, he's a young player. We have to point out that
Yep.
he's going to just grad in 2028, so there's a lot of space and time for him to grow. But it's got to be helped, especially in the late moments of the game. Otherwise, Starlight's not going to be making this one happen. They were the ones able to step up. They were the team strong enough to face Panthers and equalize in many occasions, but in the end they just suffered. I guess Panthers just came with their experience, and like you said before, the seniority helping them in this case.
I think with the seniority also comes a level of experience that hopefully you're trying to push into the spotlight. As you mentioned, goes
Yep.
fairly fresh, but there's also a certain level that only fresh talent can bring in. As Zach says, ain't no worries. Let me go ahead and pull off a trick shot here. Midfield bounce, backboard, into the net.
Wow, to touch, it's kind of go. I like this effort. I like the movement that he does from the wall, from the left wall in this case, coming close to the crossbar and finding the ball at it is at the best, the best that he wanted actually to be touching at. So good effort, good job by Zach. 1-0, and Panthers already behind. Let's see how they're gonna respond to this one.
Well, we see them respond in so many ways. That might almost be an open net, but Ghost was ready with that save. Very nicely done. Coop sends it high again, though. And maybe you are just trying to bait out Zach from the net, play out and away as Not tries to roll it in, but a teammate redirects, which is kind of interesting there. Denied an opportunity at the net, so a little bit of a rough one. Maybe the communication breakdown is not exactly where they want to be right now for the Panthers, but again, they have the ball in their hands, but guess who has the goal? It's Zach, yet again, with a helping hand from Ghost.
Very, very good job again by the kid Zach. He makes it again and finding the breaches, right? The Panthers are offering. And Panthers now at a complicated spot because, yeah, it's 2 goals already. So you got to wake up. You got to make it happen. And they need to bring their quality and their resistance, especially from the last second 10 minutes of the first game to now.
Let's see if they can do so. Question marks up and abound. Sink carries it low. Very nice challenge by Starlight. Franklin. Wonder where they're going to go from here. Dead ball there in the corner. Rounded up by Nop. Rounds it in front. Teammate goes up high. Bounces it one more time. Is the third there? No. Ghost is able to hang on to it. So it does feel like Starlight are starting to ramp things up a little bit faster, but Sink tried for a shot. Zach was there to deny, but another shot comes back as Nop says what's up. Franklin Panthers, doesn't matter about the demos. Look at this. Mid to left to goal.
Wow, he just got, he got the chance to make the perfect shot here, right? Totally catching Starlight off guard and disorganized, especially after the last touch by Zach. So he could find the box of the goal totally open, as we already may have a response. Nop is taking the chance to defend as well, but Zach scores! He brings it again for a hat trick. This is the beast on the side of Starlight.
Starlight really showing up here saying, look, we have strength right now. Last time it was Ghost, this time it is Zach, and it is all Starlight to reach for those stars. Franklin Panthers still waiting for an opportunity to explode onto this series as well. They won game one, but it's getting out of hand. Coop said, all right, let's ride that wave. And they go ahead and push things to a +1 in favor of Starlight.
Right, you can almost say that the goals on the side of Starlight, they came from the individual quality, obviously, from Zach, but also from some positioning mistakes by Panthers. But now they're trying to fix that with this last goal. Now, is that going to fuel them to the equalizer? Are they going to be finding the next goal? Now, as we see a lot of those players combined, there's a change on the half of the field utilized, as we see Zach taking it over. The control is nice. My God, this is Zach again. Once more, one more goal, 4 on his account. This kid has to be studied. Very good job. And Panthers once again taken down. This one up was flying to try to catch that ball, but it was just not enough.
I wonder if this is because Franklin Panthers are putting a lot of emphasis on Ghost. Ghost was the main front runner in game one, and maybe they're leaning too much into trying to shut them down. That Zach has been way more open and had a lot more opportunities than expected. I'm very, very curious about that one. Another shot coming out here as Ghost tries a rally again. But I am curious if Franklin Panthers are putting in too much into the pocket of Ghost and not and is letting Zach have too much freedom. Another dig out of the goal, though, as Franklin Panthers are very determined to keep this game at a +2, and they're going to try and rally and get goals of their own here shortly.
Absolutely. I think Panthers, one issue that strikes is that, as we see another attempt, but they're not finding the way to set themselves up so gradually and so consistently to Starlight's goal. But then Starlight is actually catching Panthers out of surprise with this plays by Zach. So it is a very interesting game. It's changing in pace, and Starlight, they found their way, right? They were striving and fighting for their leadership, and yeah, there it is. They got 2 goals as a cushion. That's very good. As you amplify this with Zach, 5 goals. This kid has to be studied. Oh my God, good job once again. You know, you cannot leave him alone. You cannot leave him like unmarked, and he's loving that.
Okay, granted, Stitch played a huge role in that one, knocking the defender away, basically playing that bludger, and I loved it. Every moment, as you said, though, Zach being given all the opportunities as another one comes in, but this time it's Coop yet again as they put their second on the board, and they have 100, no, not 100, I can count, don't worry, about 80 seconds left to try and score 2 more goals.
All right, yeah, never too late, right? Panthers finally finding their 3rd goal in this case. I also know how to count, and very good job by them to respond. Now Zach is gonna be able to keep this streak of finding more goals, maybe going for a 6th. Let's see, Sink from a distance, not able, blocked away. As we have Nop also finding for a ball. Coop is on the other side. We have 1 minute, and Panthers, they're not liking this. Surely not excited about how things are going.
Let's go ahead and slow roll this one, of course, is what they're kind of saying. 45 seconds left. Starlight saying we've done all the work that we need to, and now we're just going to try and play keep away. Ghost rolling in, Coop with the demo, trying to take out Zach, which I really do appreciate. Coop going ahead with the save, though, as they go ahead and kind of fly their way back in. Stitch hitting the crossbar, saying, okay, maybe that's not the goal that we want. Another pump back. Nop was ready. Now you get a chance. Do you have the boost available? You need to score soon, or else Starlight has cemented their game 1 for themselves. And right now, it looks like that is going to be it. Starlight rounding the corner, keeping that ball high and in the air away from the Franklin Panthers. Starlight have done immaculate work here in this game too, and have shown us that they also deserve to be here.
There it is, the victory, and an amazing stalling work, right? They were able, like you said, brilliantly, to keep the ball high, to keep the aerial plays in order to confuse Panthers, who, suddenly lost the control over how they could fight for the ball back again and bring it to to Starlight's goal. So that's how much Starlight have grown from the first game to this one, with 9 shots, and 19 actually 19 shots by the team as a whole. Was an amazing collective effort. Zach, 5 goals. I doubt very much Orbital is gonna be able again to repeat that performance on a high level. 5 goals. I mean, this guy was a beast. He was just a beast unleashed from the jail.
But here's the deal. Sometimes you don't need to worry about that. All you need is one really, really good game to kind of show off your stuff as well to those schools that may be tuning in to the showcase here. And not just that, now you give way maybe back to Ghost, maybe back to your teammates and say, okay, now that we have the chance, let's go ahead and run it up a little bit further. Stitch having a great bump there, playing that assist factor, even though it wasn't counted. There's so many things that go into this, and now maybe it's time for Zach to step back and be like, okay, now they're going to target me. Now I'm in the crosshairs, and everyone else gets the chance to bloom onto the field.
Exactly. It's about changing that focus from your opponent, and surely that's going to be on their minds as well, because Zach totally stole the spotlight on to the favor of Starlight. It was an amazing work, amazing job, as we're going to be hopping into the third game, man.
Well, right now, a little bit of a punch. Nop watching that ball fly by. It's going to be another roller. I guess everyone's just kind of playing at a low pace on the ground here. We're going to see a little bit of that test. Roll 1, roll 2, Ghost still on the high ground, rolling along the ceiling, which I actually really, really like. I love high ground plays if you can, but you have to have the boost for it. That's for sure. Zach running interference here. It looks like it's going to just be another roller, as for the first minute, no real action outside of Zach hammering home a very great demo.
You can keep going, buddy. I am having a technical issue here, but it's all good.
Once again, watching here. Sync also waiting for their opportunity. I'm curious to see if we are going to get a little bit of a mix and match. This is going to be a little bit of a test here. Zach rolling in, and as we mentioned, Zach having that huge opportunity earlier in the first game as the double demo does come out. Chance at a 2v2. Stitch running interference, not trying to pick it up. We're seeing these challenges left, right, and center, and I feel like the Panthers and Starlight both are being kind of out of this world. I don't want to say bad or good, but honestly, their attention to just stopping some of these movements has been so good. But what a bump and what an opportunity. Thankfully, Stitch was there to pick it up. That 50-50 could have been disastrous in there. So Starlight digging that one out of danger. Panthers rolling low, high. Going to be rolled over. The Panthers, once again, watching this ball kind of reach every other angle. At the current moment, no one else getting greedy with it. Zach is just taking this one around the corner, being given a lot of leniency, but that's the play, and it rolls just outside. What a save from Coop. And needless to say, though, Ghost was ready with the follow-up. Head spin for glory, and watch this. Once again, dig out Coop, but it hits the railing, and Ghost was ready to ramp in for that goal. It was well played overall by the Panthers, but a three-pronged attack. One of them will strike. The timing couldn't have been better. Starlight feeling comfortable at the current moment. Nice stop there, but Not wants to play all on their own. Are they going to get it? And for Starlight, nice high kick. Go ahead, get the ball under control, take it low ground. You bait it out, you get through one defender. Do you get through the next? No. Third defender will stop you. Coop waiting on the edge here. Zach running interference once again. We're right back to kind of that stalemate position. Yet Ghost with a double tap, forcing Coop to punt it away. And maybe Coop can run it from the goal line over. Roll around the side. High ball. Not dead, though, so you're good. Zach carries. No boost left, but you let it drop to the wayside. And Sync was ready on the ground. Great read left, right. Coop redirects, though, and that's what you want to see. Stitch was not ready and gets crossed up. Franklin Panthers push it to a tie. And look at this, Stitch. Couldn't reverse fast enough. Well timed. Well played by Coop. Zach waiting for their opportunity to strike here as well, but at the current moment, this has been a test of limits on both ends. Franklin Panthers so far, they have been a little bit momentum based, if I will. They've been able to play off the back of their speed, and that three-pronged attack was glorious. For Starlight, they're stalwart in their defense. If they can keep some of these aerial battles in their favor, you can see them really take over right now. A little bit of a clutch. Bounce off. Sync is out of boost, though. So again, you can't follow through. You need to find those boots. You're sitting on 0 for 2 long, and maybe that might be the calling card. Coop forces the ball out once again. Looks like it won't be too bad right now. Stitch waiting in the center. Push back, shot on goal. Stitch ready. Franklin. Where do they find their opportunity? They do right there. Nop rounds 2 defenders and finds the goal. It popped out to the right side. Zach was looking, but Nop swings it on the ground, and you could see nobody, it feels like, on the Starlight side was truly ready for that one. Kickoff flying over towards the side of Starlight. We're down to the last 45 seconds here. And I'm wondering if it's going to be enough. Zach for their own. A little bit of a touch. No worries on that end. Sync. Saying, okay, drops down towards the middle. 0 boost in their pocket as well. They haven't really been able to find 100, and that always hurts. Dead ball in the front, though, as Stitch is going to try and pick that one up. Goes high, goes low, goes right across, and we're right back to tied. Wild, wild stuff here, as this is getting glorious. Stitch with a high ball to deflect away from the defenders, and Franklin Panthers were absolutely bamboozled. We are down now to the last 21 seconds. I can only imagine this is going to go one of 2 ways. Either we're going to go to OT or we're not. And you might call me silly for saying that, but I'm thinking OT is the way to go.
Yeah.
Stitch coming in here.
Love you.
Has one. We'll see how it works out. Quick touch, round the clock. 2 seconds, 1. And it looks like it is going to be swung down to the ground. Punch down as we're in to OT.
Oh yeah, man! On overtime, I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed of how much these teams are showing so much quality today, man. And let's see what's gonna happen. It's gonna be the 3rd game coming up to get decided. And yeah, it could be going either ways.
Well, it's already over.
Well,
so I don't know about that one. Starlight with a 20-second, our fastest OT goal so far on stream. It's just a gentle roller. Zach yet again showing that they are the master of the pitch right now.
Absolutely. So Stitch also stepping up and, being more on the offensive side of things, like you mentioned before, Orbital, and helping to take those attentions, right? He was the guy that was more behind, more of a backline player before, and now it's not the case. He's not shy anymore, and it's not just Zach that the team has to score. 3-2 was a great game. Let's see how that's going to keep rolling.
I think it's going to roll out to be very, very comfortable, I would say, right? You talk about how this is kind of messing around and how the teams are kind of breaking out here. I was saying Zach is going to be in a very, very good spot, and yet they've excelled past that. Even in game number 2, they were the spotlight, and yet this time they were the closer, is the best way I can put it. They weren't the ones at the front end the entire time, but they were still very much present. And then at the very end, they said, hey, we got to put it away. We got to make sure Starlight is in a good position. And now going into the game 4, Starlight are just one away.
Right. They're just almost there, right, to make it happen. Again, obviously, now against Dreamland, if they ever confirm the result versus Panthers. So it's going to be quite a sequence now. And I think more than ever, it gets to be about who makes the least mistakes, right? And I know it sounds obvious, but as we move into the final edges here of the brackets, that's what happens. That's what defines the champions, to be honest. And I'm very, very curious to see amongst those 4 final teams who's going to be making less mistakes and who's going to be rotating the squad with quality, just like we saw on the side of Starlight.
Well, here's the deal. If you want to talk about that, I want to point out as well as we get a kick on the side. Zach just rolls it right on in. Starlight ready with goal number 1. And our fastest goal yet. 3 seconds still left on the clock there.
Oh my God! And what a presence, right? He not only shot, but he got close again to the goal to make sure it was gonna hit the back of the neck. Versus Panthers, once more suffering at the beginning of the game.
I would also like to point out, you were mentioning, which teams are going to step up here in the
Right.
top four. I'd like to point out, Plexi has beat all three of the other teams so far in their run to the grand
Wow.
finals. Plexi is currently the team that has put every single other team in the top four in the lower bracket to begin with, and that's why we're seeing such a hefty fight. Starlight yet again giving all the power to Zach as Zach rolled along the right side and scores yet another goal in the opening 30 seconds.
An amazing run by Pludgeber, as you're mentioning. Now they're gonna know how to work and operate against each one of these last three remaining teams. Excuse me. And yeah, Zach, he gets back to being the star man. So this is a player that has to be definitely, looked upon and studied on a gameplay level, because it's a very, very decisive kind of guy to have on your squad. As we see them trying to fight for this ball again, we have Sync, who actually has lost his stamp, right? He was such a force in the beginning of the day, Sync for the Frickley Panthers, and not being able to put themselves into scoring positions anymore, apparently, lately.
It's a rough one to see, and right now Ghost tips that one away, makes sure that it tips to the left side. Teammates trying to pick it up, but Sync rolling on the front. Nop, though, you just called Panthers quiet, and
Right.
Nop says we're not. Great shot and pickup off of that steal.
That was a very good one. He was conscious that the ball was not going to go any higher, and he had the chance to touch it on the right moment, putting it on the back of the neck and putting his team back on track. Good job. Good job. And Starlight now having the challenge of keep working and keep upgrading their especially their clutch moments and their final touches to keep scoring versus Panthers. Because as we do know, Panthers, they're never that enough. They can totally reverse the situations too, as Starlight can.
And right now, Ghost just trying to carry this one in. Try to go with the slow roll because you were out of boost, but Nop says no, thank you. I'm going to make this one as close as possible. A little bit around the corner, though, as that's a demo in the air. Coop winning out on that one, but the ball went straight to your side anyway. So right now, Franklin Panthers, where do they start their aggressive turn? Challenge in the air yet again. Both teams being very willing to go for that all-out aggressive, which tends to be a little bit of a gamble. These teams are leaving their nets slightly open whenever they go flying like that.
Absolutely, and you see that on both sides, as you mentioned. It is that moment of the game where you want to make a difference. So you want to put all your coins where you need to. So you need to fight with all the forces you have, and on both sides, everything is on hands now. Everything is on the table to be battled for, as we have a potential movement by Sync. Yeah, he touches the ball to get back to the play, and Starlight also are gonna have to defend themselves. Now we have all of them, as you said, very, very nicely, all together for that kind of game, right? Where it's high risks and high rewards as well.
Oh, 100%. You have to go for those make or break moments, and you're just hoping that the opposing team doesn't have someone on standby ready to fight it out. So, you make sure someone like Coop doesn't have that straightforward lace action. If you go for the high ball chance, you're making sure if you're Starlight or if you're Panthers that someone's just not in the right position. So right now with 2 minutes left, this is very, very doable on either side to put it away. Sync juggling over one. Rest of the team is there, and Coop unfortunately was not ready in position. So Starlight go ahead and try and round that ball up for themselves. Zach going to watch as that one's carried over, and Sync, though, denies any follow-through.
Yeah, we have both of the teams so tense now. Middle zone of the game, everything can happen. And Sync is trying to position himself for a potential shot, but he's gonna find Stitch. And actually, the entire team of Starlight defending their goal box. As we have also Nop getting close in co-op. He was the one to make the final touch possible. As I was looking to the other players, Coop just came from this side position. A very, I would say, hard goal to see, because his angle was very, very tough, right? But he was still able to touch on it and bring the equalizer.
I also want to point out Coop was sitting there for a hot minute. Coop was chilling. in that corner, and Starlight just kind of overlooked him for half a second. They were racing to that corner to try and get the ball, but forgot that someone was already there. So very, very nice positioning. Down to a minute, though. Starlight want to put this one away if they can. And either way, it's going to be a chance in as Sync gets in one of the slowest goals yet. Franklin Panthers go ahead and leverage a lead.
Yeah, and it was one of those slow goals that almost touched the basic fundamentals of the game, right? It's just a matter of controlling and keeping the direction and keeping the trajectory that the ball already has. Interestingly, allowing the Panthers to go and move forward on the scoreboard. 3-2. Now, Starlight having to fight harder, and they cannot lose the focus. They have been doing so well lately in these last games, at least, and have to battle even further, even harder and fiercer against the Panthers.
I really do feel like this is going to go into an OT, but at the same time, Franklin Panthers just want to go to a Game 5, and it might be one of the few Game 5 situations we've had this entire tournament long. Stitch, though, trying to fight in the intermittent space and say, look, we still have a couple seconds. Quick punt out over to X-Sync. Sync is going to pick it up. Ghost taps it up above. Is anyone there to help out? Sync goes low, and they let it roll out to the side. Another punt off on the edge. 5 seconds left. Are we going to see a twist? That's in the corner, and it makes it through! Ghost sneaks it through the defender, and that has to hurt right now for the Panthers.
Oh my God, what has he done? This is his signature, honestly, right? He loves to come from the side, middle air positioning to find this miraculous goal for Starlight and make everything equal again, forcing Panthers into this overtime again. I absolutely adore this. This is what makes esports happen. This is what makes Rocket League amazing to watch and to work with. Oh my God, Starlight, they were already thinking about their next opponent here, to be honest.
This is out of this world. This is out of this world. Quick dunk on the ground, though, almost into the net. And that could have been it. That could have been the Panthers moving into game number 5. But it's not going to work this time. X-Sync going on the edge here. Quick chance, Coop waiting. Very, very nice block. But that is now 2 shots for the Panthers. Starlight have yet to find their first. Zach carries it over. Coop is able to pick it up. Another punt. High, though. This time goes and sits on the side of the Panthers. Goes trying to pick it up, but everyone is so fast right now. Everyone keeping that top speed, if you will. And you are just waiting to see what happens. Quick run on the edge as that's almost a clip in. And yet again, a third attempt not made. Coop trying to make the 4th, but no, Starlight. Great defensive action.
Absolutely, he was gonna get his ball stolen right there in the air, but yeah, enough. He still did enough to keep it within his radius, and now we have a situation where anything can happen. You have a demo, you have Panthers trying to position themselves for an attack for potential shoots, and let's see if that's gonna happen. Coop trying it over, and Nop's gonna make the follow-up right now as we still have Stitch fighting for it. It's a lot of those back and forth movements that actually make the game more exciting and more exciting.
Right now, we're reaching about 2 minutes into this OT. I mean, Panthers are also fighting just as hard. They don't want to let this one go to the wayside. They don't want to because then they're out of the spin showcase here. It's going to be a little bit of a roller. Coop gets denied. It's going to flip over the top. Can someone from Starlight get there to challenge? No, they can't. Sync yet again. Being allowed to start these offensive turns. It's going to be a roll. Kick off to the right. Stitch picks it up around one defender. Is anyone there? Good block by Sync. It's going to roll right back. Ghost. You meet on the edge in the midfield. Coop, though, carries it high. Rolls down. Is it a chance? What a deflect by Starlight yet again.
Oh my God, what? Man, seriously, what is Ghost doing today? This guy is doing everything. He's the one to strike from a long distance. He defends. He just did it again. Very, very nice block. And now Panthers, I would say both teams on the despair zone because no one wants to overcommit. You got to be very cautious in that. And that's what Starlight's doing, right, Orbital? They're waiting patiently to find the right attack setup. And they're not just going totally on into all the plays.
No, they're not. They are trying to play this one as nice and neat as possible. And I think that's why it's been so close, but that's an angle, and they make it.
Oh,
Starlight stitches
wow.
one more, and Stitch's only goal of the game is the only one that matters.
Absolutely. The guy that comes from behind, the helper, Stitch. Yeah, the Shadow Man. Yes, he was bright enough to bring Starlight to the spotlight and to, yeah, defeat their opponents as Panthers go down and get eliminated from the competition. So what a final moment for Starlight. Yeah, bright and shine. They come again, and they're gonna have to fight now versus Dreamland.
Oh, I'm terrified. Honestly, if we are watching Starlight be this force, this dominating angle, that they have quite literally, they got knocked out in the winners quarterfinals. They are on a warpath all the way through up in here. I'm scared. I am highly terrified to see what this team has been cooking up because they want revenge against Play just as much. And the fact that they could hang on for that long and then have a single goal turn it, wild stuff.
Wild stuff, and now the lower zone of our championship just gets messier and messier as we know that Starlight, they have the momentum, they have the confidence, but then they're gonna have to face a very, very thick and tough opponent on the Dreamland as we see the best moments of this game. And it was a very back and forth game, right? Since the first minute, we had the Panthers taking the first action, and then Starlight were able to respond to this one. Orbital, what a great game and what a great series.
I'm just impressed that Starlight, for 3 out of the 4 games, I believe, never started with a goal on their end. They were consistently behind, and yet were always willing to step up to the plate at the end. Very, very impressive stuff, and I couldn't ask for better. I mean, we have to give Zach credit, though. Zach has been putting on a show right now, and I'm curious, do you think anyone is going to be able to stop Zach? And if they stop Zach, do they stop Ghost as well?
Absolutely. I think that's the 1 million question, right? Zach, he is a force. When he feels the game, when he comes from the back, and he finds himself within a nice position to shoot, he's undefeatable. But on the other hand, as you said, they also have the hidden element of Ghost. They have the hidden element of Stitch. So it is tough to predict what Starlight can do from now on.
All right, well, listen, the teams are ready to go, so we're just going to roll right into the next one. No waiting around. They want to keep moving, and I'm sure they are going to run it as hard as possible. As we take a look at the bracket, we are in to the lower bracket finals. Dreamland versus Starlight. The winner gets a chance at revenge against Plexi, who have been waiting oh so patiently in the grand finals spot. They have waited for so long, and they also want their crown.
And Plexi, who are also not only waiting patiently, but also watching, right? Having the chance to watch on a VIP zone, their opponents, in this case, Dreamland or Starlight. They're surely taking notes. They're surely observing closely their foes, because it's going to be a very, very